B3. Mastering Topics with Lectures. Listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.
As I just mentioned, there are 4 distinct stages in the growth process of the butterfly. All 4 are integral to it, so I'm going to go into detail on them. Now, naturally, once a butterfly mates, it lays eggs. The egg is the first stage. Typically, butterflies lay their eggs on leaves or stems. They may lay single eggs or large groups of them. Oh, and keep in mind that there are around 28,000 known species of butterflies, each of which lays eggs with their own distinctive sizes, shapes, and colors. As a general rule, it only takes a few days for the eggs to hatch. What emerges from the egg is the caterpillar, which is the second stage. Keep in mind, though, that the scientific name for it is the larva. Caterpillar is just what most people call it. Anyway, the larva has one goal in life: to eat. As soon as it hatches, it typically devours the eggshell and then gets to work on the leaf or stem where it was laid. This was actually the butterfly's intention when it laid its eggs, to provide a ready food source for its young. Anyway, as the larva eats more and more, it gets bigger, of course. Like people who eat too much and have to purchase new clothes, the larva outgrows its skin, which it has to shed in a process called molting.
Professor Morris, does the larva molt once or more often than that?
That's a shrewd query, Mary, and one I don't often get in an introductory class like this. Actually, depending on the species, the larva will molt anywhere from 3 to 10 times. When it molts for the final time, its new skin becomes a hard shell called the chrysalis, which is better known as the... Yes, you guessed it, the cocoon. This is the third stage, called the pupa. Inside its cocoon, the larva is protected while its body undergoes the transformation that turns it into a butterfly. Okay, I think I can anticipate your next question. How long does that take, right? Well, it could be anywhere from a couple of weeks to a few months. Some species spend the entire winter in this form and emerge only in the spring. Basically, it depends on the species. The fourth and final stage begins when the caterpillar, larva, becomes the beautiful butterfly. Basically, the chrysalis breaks open and a butterfly emerges. After a brief period of time, during which its wings fully develop, it then flies off in search of a mate to start the cycle once again. This is something that butterflies often need to do quickly. The reason is that while many species can actually survive for around 10 to 11 months in the wild, they typically live for only about 2 to 14 days once they emerge from their cocoon. There are a number of factors involved. Let me think. Predators are the main one, of course. The weather is another. There are others, but I won't get into them right now. So, those are the butterfly's 4 stages of life. But what does it do in the final stage? Well, those that come out of their cocoons in warm weather will search for a mate in the immediate vicinity. However, keep in mind that butterflies are cold-blooded creatures. They can't even fly unless their body temperature is about 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So, those that emerge in cold weather have 2 options: hibernate or migrate. A few species hibernate by finding a sheltered place, a pile of leaves, the underside of a log, a crack in the wall, or some other comfortable place. Then, their body secretes a chemical that keeps them from freezing until the weather warms up, which is when they awake. However, most butterflies migrate rather than hibernate.
1. Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question.
Like people who eat too much and have to purchase new clothes, the larva outgrows its skin, which it has to shed in a process called molting.
Professor Morris, does the larva molt once or more often than that?
That's a shrewd query, Mary, and one I don't often get in an introductory class like this.
What does the professor mean when she says this?
That's a shrewd query, Mary, and one I don't often get in an introductory class like this.
2. How is the discussion organized? 3. What will the professor probably do next? B3. Mastering topics with lectures. Listen to part of a lecture in a biology class.